Okay. Ooh, this week was another week filled with lessons. I tell you, something about turning 40, it really makes you grow up. And that ain't no joke. But before we get off into all of that, let me make me some coffee. Let me talk about work. Won't be long. This will not be a work video. This will not be a leadership video, but just really quickly. This week, oh my gosh. There was so much. Now, I want to say so much. I gotta be careful. There was so much happening this week at work that I was just like, I was questioning motives all around me. Like why people are doing what they're doing and making the decisions that they're making, and truly not understanding the ripples. Like, baby, I don't get that. And I know. We can always see other people's issue and we can always see the problem in somebody else, right? But some stuff, baby, you got to know that the decisions that you make, they have effects. Especially if you're leading a team or a department or if anybody is in your charge. The decisions you make, baby. Come on. But anyway, I found myself repeating a term over and over all week, and that was a death by 1,000 cuts is kind of how it felt. Because it was not one, big thing that happened that made me question things. It was the small stuff. It was the cancellations of meetings that I was prepared for and then canceling them at the last minute. It was the questioning of my decision. It was the giving me task and then doing it yourself. It was having conversations with HR. It was all of it. Again, the best way I could describe it is that it felt like a death by 1,000 cuts. And so, so much so that I know that my leadership could feel the tension, could feel the uncomfort, the frustration. So much so that they ended up putting a meeting on my calendar just to kind of see how I was feeling and what I was doing. And so this is where I'm going to end this, because at the end of the day, at the end of the week, I really wasn't able to describe what was going on. I wasn't able to professionally articulate what I'm dealing with. Hell, even now, I'm not able to articulate what was frustrating me. I can't. I'm not going to say I have a bad leader. I'm not going to say that they're bad processes. I'm not going to say anything about that, because it's not really what was going on. It's just I was constantly being overstimulated. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why. But yeah, I ended the week on a sour note, trying to understand and trying to articulate it. And again, I failed at doing so. I just couldn't. I could not. I could not. But I was definitely overstimulated, upset, and frustrated, very short with people. And I'm one of those leaders, I don't take things out on my team. And so I found myself being silent around the team, or just only answering questions that they asked me and not me checking in on them. Because normally, you check in on your people, right? They take care of you, so you take care of them. So in order to do that, you have to check in on each other. And I often do. But this week, they got a different version of Jimmy. And yeah. And again, I'm still trying to articulate that, because I will eventually have to have that conversation with my manager as well as some of my colleagues to be able to express what this week did to me. But speaking of that, some other uncomfortable truths kind of showed up in my life. And I don't know if you're married, but I've been with my husband now. We're going on married for 11 years, and we will be together for 15 years. Um, you know, and like I always knew it, so it's not like this was a revelation this week, but I'm just like, he's my person. Like, he's my person. And I felt like these last few weeks, life happens. Like, I've been traveling. He's been working, and his job is obviously demanding. My job is demanding. And we have family members that have just had kids, and then my godkids going back to school, and then having parents, and to maneuver through all of these different relationships. I realized that, like, I'm growing, I'm evolving, and I'm like, all of these moments that I wanted to share with him, like, time just didn't allow for it. And so this week, we ended up having a conversation where we had to kind of, or I had to express that to him. Like, my feelings were hurt. And nothing about him or what he's done. It's just, I didn't take out the time to share or to catch him up with what was going on with me. Like, I know we talked about it. A couple of the things that happened last week as a great example. One that I am so proud of myself on is what happened at the airport, and that supervisor. It's just one of those things, one of those moments where I was so grateful and so proud of myself, but I didn't bring him along that journey with me. And so I didn't get a chance to share that with him. And, and again, back to the earlier quote, a death by 1,000 cuts. It's just one small thing, but there's so many other stories that I just did not get a chance to share. And so we kind of had a conversation about me being heard and about my feelings. And I got to do a better job at that, of expressing and sharing that growth with him, because I don't like being disconnected. Because again, he is my person, right? And whether he's having a bad day or not, if I'm having a good day and he's not, like, I still cannot allow that to be a hindrance to what I share with him. Because at the end of the day, I want to share and bring those moments up to him. I want him to be along this journey with me. And when that is your person and you don't do that, is what I've learned this week. When that is your person and you don't do that, like, there begins to be a void in your life. You don't quite know how to articulate it until things blow up or until things get too far gone. And so I have to put in the effort. I have to put in the conscious effort to make sure that I remember this week, right? And bring him along. And so, yeah, then another thing happened, because I had to catch him up on this as well. But one of my cousins, she had her first baby, and he is so handsome. Oh, he is so handsome, and he is such a good baby. But I went by and actually worked from their house midweek. And I'm, again, so grateful. I realize everybody's not able to do that. But when you do work from home, you can work from wherever. Like, that's the idea. And so when you have family or friends that need you, or that's asking for help, or you're able to offer help, then it's a benefit. And so that's what I did. Wednesday, I went over to their house. I think I got there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. But worked and didn't leave until, I think, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So I was like there legitimately for 11 to 12 hours. But got a chance to meet the baby. The baby is about a week old. But I got a chance to meet him. But for the first time, I got a chance to lend my hand so they could kind of rest. Because, when it's your first baby, like, you don't know what to expect. You also don't remember, or I'm sorry, you don't recognize how much help you really need. And to have people that are willing to come over genuinely to help, oh my, like, that is a blessing beyond blessings. And they were able to appreciate that. But I was able to come in and kind of help clean up a few things, do some feeding, some diaper changes while they are, resting, because baby's eating every 2 hours. And you just, again, you don't know the weight of having a child until you're in that situation for the first time. And again, it was a privilege to be able to help out. I'm very, very grateful to be able to have done that. And so having that conversation with them and spending that time with them and bonding with them and bonding with the baby. And again, he is such a good baby. He is such a good baby. Yeah, such a good baby. Like we were sitting there and it was crazy because you could see his eyes. And I was telling my husband about it, but I'm just like, you can see his eyes like looking at the world, like looking at the world and seeing everything for the first time. And it was just, it was an amazing thing to witness. But then, of course, I'm working, so I'm holding him and working, and so he's kind of looking at me in spreadsheets and emails, and so looking at his eyes, looking at all these things is just, it was crazy, freaking amazing. But I enjoyed every minute of that day, every single minute of that day. Yeah. So, but it was great. But it definitely got me to thinking about the surrogacy journey that I would love to be able to take one day with my husband. And, even the possibilities of it may not happen, right? Because at the end of the day, I think mentally, I don't think you'll ever be prepared to be a parent. But financially, you have to be, especially when you're purposely bringing a kid into this world. You have to be able to afford that. And so, a lot of that kind of popped into my head, and the realization of it could happen one day, quick. It could happen or could not happen. And so having to grapple with that and be okay either way. In fact, I shared that story with my cousin and how I am this year, even though it's probably because I'm 40. I don't know. It could have just been my personal evolution, but no different than going out to California or finding a new job or the business. Again, babies are on that list as well. Being able to recognize that this is what I want, this is what I'm working toward, while still staying grounded and grateful right where I am and being happy. And so I shared with her about driving the BMW over and taking its first road trip with the top down and, like going on trips with Winston and just life. Like I'm okay. Like I'm happy. I'm not in the best city. I'm not in the right city for me. I'm not in the city that I want to be in, so to speak, but I'm happy here. Like I'm okay. I can drive and see our neighborhood where people are keeping up, like certain people are keeping up their houses and taking care of their lawn, and I can marvel and be grateful for that. And the people that are able to walk and do their morning runs, and you don't do that unless you're in a safe neighborhood, right? And so I'm able to be very, very grateful for where I live while also stretching for what I want. And so even with the business, I'm very grateful because this was another thing that came up, and I know we talked about it. My business partner handles the day to day, like he deals with the on the ground, like the roughness of the business, and I don't have to do that. I don't have to deal with that. And so again, it's one of those things that I'm very, 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 very grateful for. And so whether the business completely thrives, I could be okay. I know where I'm trying to push it toward. Or even if it fails. We just talked about this last month and having some down months and having to take personal funds out of my account to support the business. This month is drastically different, trust me. But, it's life. And so that was a huge lesson for me this week. At the end of the day, just be grateful, be thankful for where you are. Keep pushing, keep stretching. But you have to release the idea. In fact, this was a quote that came up 2 days ago that I did an inspirational video about. And that was, set the destination, but do not be distraught by the detours that may show up along the way. And so that's kind of where I am. I had one of our friends to come over yesterday to pick up some shoes for her baby. And it was just another reminder that I love being the shoe uncle. Like, I'm okay with that, right? Um, because I know we typically try to buy her shoes throughout the year, multiple pair throughout the year to make sure she has like whatever she needs as she's growing, shoes wise. And even with my god kids, same thing. We buy clothes and shoes and something like that, multiple times. Not all of the necessities, but I like to buy the shoes. I like to make sure that they have good pairs of shoes. And typically for babies, I typically buy their first Uggs. I love to see them in their little booties and to be able to say they had this and I was a part of that very first shoe journey, so to speak. Being able to do that, afford it, and still be able to travel and drink the kind of whiskey that I want, okay? Because it's not cheap. But also, like, I don't have to worry about my lights being cut off and I don't have to worry about the mortgage, right? And still be able to partake in these kinds of extra things. And I'm just so grateful for being able to do that. I am so grateful. I am so grateful for that. And so this week it's been a journey of a lot of things that I can't describe. It's been a journey. Well, I shouldn't say describe. A lot of things that I'm not fully able to articulate. But it ended way better than it started. So that's it. I told you guys about the bank loan. And so I got to go and I got to go do some research for the business. I found 2 cars here locally that I need to go check out today. There's one that's not local, but I'm talking with her now to see like about transport, to see how much it'd be for her to deliver them here. It's about 4 hours away. Of course, everything comes with the cost. And so I've got to run the numbers. But ironically, the car that she has is a Mazda 3. And so again, I've been doing research on several things of some cars that can last up to high mileage. That's within my budget. And again, I'm trying to buy at least 2. But this Honda Civic keeps popping up, Honda Accord, of course, Toyota Camry and Corolla, but they're higher. They're going to be more expensive. And then this Mazda 3 keeps popping up. The Mazda 3 that she has is in Alabama, and it is a hatchback, which I actually really like the way it looks. The one that's here locally is not. And it looks very similar to the Toyota Yaris, very similar. And so I know that it can be rented. And so it's a smaller vehicle, very good on gas mileage. And again, it can also last up to the high mileage. And so I'm going to leave here shortly. We got to go get a haircut, and then I'm going to run over to these car dealerships to check them out. To make sure that they at least sound decent, nothing crazy, and within my budget. Okay. That's it. But okay, I think that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, it is. At the end of the day, you know the rules. We are still just simply becoming. That's it. I'll see you guys on the next one.